Okie, so this is the pepperoncini chuck roast. So all I've done so far in the recipe is this is about 2.5 to almost 3 pounds of meat. I've done a little bit of olive juice and kind of coated the meat a little bit, salt, pepper, and now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put a little bit of gluten-free flour on there. And after we're done here, what we'll do is we'll actually sear it on both sides. So I've got my skillet over here, kind of prepped over here, and I'm warming that up right now. So we'll salt and pepper the other side real quick. And this usually is about 10 minutes of prep time. So it's not very long to try to do. And I'll show you how I actually go through these steps real quick. A little salt and pepper. You want to do a little bit more pepper than salt. I don't really like using too much salt in my foods, especially because when we do this meal here, you're going to see a couple different other spices that we'll use, and I'll just kind of throw in there as an added kind of thing. A little salt. This comes out kind of quick, so we won't do much of that. Nice and easy. Take a little bit of this gluten-free flour, and you just kind of want to coat, give it a little thin coat on each side. Stacy loves this because I always make a giant mess. But don't worry, I'll clean it. So we'll coat the sides. You want to get the sides too as well. So when you're going through here, just kind of roll the meat a little bit. Kind of get your hands in there. Get the sides, and that tends to be pretty good. From here, let me just wash my hands real quick. What we're going to do is we'll put a little bit of oil in there. I do avocado oil because it's got a little bit of a higher heat. It won't burn as fast than olive oil. Olive oil tends to burn because I've got a pretty high heat going. And we're going to sear that bad boy, okay? So while that's searing, usually what I do is I go about 3 minutes on here. I start to prepare the second portion, which is a little bit of buttermilk. So what we'll do is we'll grab a little bit of milk. Usually we do about that much. So I've been doing this for a little bit while. Usually what you're trying to do is about half a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup when it comes to the milk. And in order to make buttermilk, what you do is you take about a half lemon. This comes right from our outside backyard, and I just squeeze it in there. And you want to let it sit before you do anything else. Okay? And that's how that kind of milk curdles from all the acidic juices from the lemon, and it gets that nice little buttermilk kind of going. While the buttermilk is forming, I'm going to turn on my crock pot here, and we're going to turn that on to low. Let's get that going. Oh, wrong plug. No worries. So we'll get that going. And what we're going to do is we're going to take pepperoncinis. Okay, pepperoncini is the pepperoncini and the pepperoncini chuck roast. And we're going to go for 10. You can do a little bit more if you'd like, but usually 10 kind of works out just fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and let's get a big one. 10. One for good luck. Okay? So we just kind of layer the bottom end of the chuck roast like that, or the pot. Grab a little bit of butter. You don't want to use too much butter because the fat from the chuck roast is going to be in there, and you just don't want to get too much going on there. It tends to be a little bit too fatty. So I usually do about 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm eyeballing most of it because I've done this so many times and I've portioned it out, measured it out. I kind of know what it looks like. So we'll do that, and that's done. We're just about getting ready to flip this bad boy. Now when I had this on high. I get this really, really nice and hot. So this skillet has been kind of going for about a couple minutes. So when it sits on there, you want to hear that meat kind of sizzle. That'll give you a nice little crust on both sides. So we're getting ready to flip. That's about 3 minutes. We'll flip it to the other side. Get that nice little crust going. Again, we'll do another 3 minutes on that side. The buttermilk should be good. This is kind of set. And I'm kind of flowing in between so that this makes it kind of quick this way, okay? So with this, we're gonna do a little bit of a concoction here. This is about 2 tablespoons. I use a non-vegan or a vegan mayo here. So now we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of mayo. Go a little bit more. Two tablespoons of mayo. And then what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of paprika. Okay? So when we're going through this is smoked paprika. We'll do a little bit, I would say about 2 teaspoons of paprika. And then we need a little bit of thyme. So we'll do thyme. With thyme, you just want to do about a teaspoon. So you don't want to do a little bit, so it's almost like a 2-to-1 ratio here. So you don't want to do too much. There. And then we mix it up, okay? And this will give us kind of our little sauce that we'll put right on top of the chuck roast. So we're mixing this up. We'll get this nice and ready while we meet. And you want that nice little color where it's kind of a little bit kind of turning red a little bit. That's from the paprika. If you want to get a little bit spicier or a little bit more of a kick, I would just add a little bit more paprika if you want. And then kind of go from there. Oh, almost forgot, apple cider vinegar. You definitely want that, okay? So with apple cider vinegar, you just want about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You don't want to do too much, okay? So we'll put about a tablespoon in there. Whoop. And that completes our sauce right there. We'll mix that up. And we'll see here. Now this is about going 3 minutes now. It's really, really thick. And if you want this to cook faster, you would just kind of cube this up a little bit. I like to slow roast it. So from here, we'll slow roast it for about 6 to 8 hours, okay? Obviously, the longer you go, 8 hours, it gets that meat nice and tender, and it just pulls apart really nice and easy. We serve it with a couple tacos. Use your units on the side. Usually for a 4-unit meal, I'm gonna have 3 different tacos, three corn tortillas with about 2 to 3 ounces, 2 ounces of meat in each one. And then that's our pepperoncini chuck roast, okay? You'll see me I'll kind of brown the sides a little bit here. Just kind of lay it on its side here. It's about 3 minutes right there. Kind of going there. Let that sit for there. Bring my thing over so that I don't spill it. Okay. Just turn it over one side, and I'm just kind of getting that cooked just down just a little bit. Okay. Kind of speeds up the process. And then here, that looks about good. We lay it down right inside. Take a look at that. Right there. And then we'll put this here. Take our little sauce. We'll layer it over. If you want to come on over and check this out. We'll just lay it right on top. And then, here's the crazy part. We cover it. And then we're done. That's it. That's the pepperoncini chuck roast. And you'll see the final kind of dish later on today. So we'll see it in 8 hours. So we got it all set and we're good to go. Pepperoncini chuck roast.